Hi, GC News. Deba Olivia Akwawa. Hadia latest and hot news in one and I'm the Bremo. I don't see so when you subscribe we are Bomodi say over subscribe to the channel. The way I have to say over click the subscribe button. Now a belly notification. We answer new video be upload. Also what's ever can be. I feel we are now like video and give us a thumbs up. Now feel share my Ato Forson when you be here now and summer and Forson.
Let me tell you, NPP for NAPO dimawu kasa we yam kwadasem so bi antimi nkatwa me meka kire wo ugu ye nima ase dodo onsem ye ne nye wo kasa nye dia wo ye no tan o ha wo yes o ha Dr. Bawumia ye wura futu no mfa why wadwen se wo mfa chese obeye de obeye because ya na poku na trimu ye odesa NAPO adan nsem wanyina anya platform a wontimi nka wansem de ntia maya de chen John Dramani Mahama enyoma bebra wo beye as an education minister obo homodin energy ba obo homodin no ni nyina wontimi nka bi ginsem hunu ensem a enkwada ne wosem ka NAPO we de mitu mofo pacho muntie mi ye MPP for muntie na we ya futu mamo.
Oh yeah! Come on!
Ishra
104.5.
Se me kan na po asema eya na ayedin akoye wo fascinate kuru. To be kan se na unia na ya na wo ye ne sa no. Nokre enimnia. Nokre nso kan edin. Enti kan ne wo se ye ka. Me pese utie voice bi kakra na me wia de mpese me ka no maka bra Facebook na be hwa de bra Facebook e bia watie sa voice no pese utie NAPO oyeko campaign na campaign mu no na no okoka kwa me nkroma na no sa akoka ba ko no wuye no e ma ho asem kra nyankan wie na no yewura se atetu ahemfie inti de enkofo kan emane nye ho yenti de NAPO kai yibi ebeto so bra Facebook ya de to
kwa de kuwa sofu omu kuwa sofu akese mienu ogana ha ne fe ba ko odifu asare ne fe omu kwa de kuwa sofu akese mienu ogana ha ne fe ba ko odifu asare ne fe ba ko brother amwako omu yira wi aketekete omu ye omu o omu kuwa bosofo na drobo okoye HIV agro ye kuni shengura mebu ana omu na sabu bum kabo sore dai oti zongo na tuma ndisia obo bebu bu sore dai
me say bobiem nti munti
omu kwa de kuwa sofu akese mienu ogana ha ne fe ba ko odifu asare ne fe ba ko brother amwako omu yira wi aketekete omu ye omu o omu kuwa bosofo na drobo okoye HIV agro ye kuni shengura mebu ana omu na sabu bum kabo sore dai oti zongo na tuma ndisia obo bebu bu sore dai
me say bo third time ti we NAPO Dr. Bawumia vice presidential candidate no NAPO
omu kwa de kuwa sofu akese mienu ogana ha ne fe ba ko odifu asare ne fe ba ko brother amwako omu yira wi aketekete omu ye omu o omu kuwa bosofo na drobo okoye HIV agro ye kuni shengura mebu ana omu na sabu bum kabo sore dai oti zongo na tuma ndisia obo bebu bu sore dai
mabono miensa so we eye Matthew Opoku Prempe NAPO miankasa minia mpanyufo bi ne me kasaye so we de wa wo nia nti nyoma bi wo ayemboa no but you see ade ba kwa minimye ene nkontompo meni ade ne nya me nkase eye de wo se nipa ye ni bia ne eye no no asemo gigi no so dodo MPP for Mamin Kanchiremo. Say, I must send NAPO Boamwa or same votes more. They catch them. So, my imagine some Muntimini in Casa Muntimini Muncochino. Into one Kikasan, who we are and no nebe Boamwa. I'm telling you, say, and your man yet. You go so your research be, and your research in the beba. Men people for not down will send NAPO Boamu. NAPO Eminia will be any dada. But say, Munti min coaching and Namo fan and normal, share dead dear. Ah, now there is any part rally dear. A bembia benya domo, Jomahama wa dom, rally dear normal unti, so kosia dom no. Now when who acquire before Swakasa. Near yaw napo trimude napo yenkawansem napo saa na ubie wanwa panyi te sewo kanyansa sema ebetimi aboa Dr. Bawumia hwede Dr. Bawumia ye or campaign or Kennedy obetimi aye or digitalization wabeye minister ewo education wabeye minister ewo energy sansem wenyina anya platform a wuntimi nkan wansem de ntia maya de change John Dramani Mahama. And your man be bra wo be ye as an education minister. Obo homodin energy, ba homodino. Ni nyina wontimi nka bi jinsem hunu ensema enkwada na wose muka. Enkwada ensema full soldiers ena wose kasa asem no. Na wuti platform kese so kanyansa sem ema ni pentie ni enkoto abama NPP a. JJ timer obi wu ye eni yeku no ena enkremofuo otobo abama nkremofuo a NDC a otobo abama NDC a yebebubu nkremofuo dan a bra aden na wugu yanim asesa kasa wei yenkwada asem so bi antimi nkatwa me meka kire wo wugu yanim ase dodo onsem nye ne nye wo kasa nye dia wo ye no tan o ha Dr. Bawumia yewure futu no wonfa why wadwen say wonfa che so obeye de obeye because ya na poku na trimu ye odesa na po adan da ben na John Mahama ana NDC omukobubu enkremofo asori dan da ben ka kire me da ben na NDC buy 8 years at Mills bepem John Mahama 2016 to abetia no okoye say me NDC for the empenkremofo asem enti yakwa bubu sa anwoma no. So who can soldier banya and then who cares about listen the youth do not even care about what the JJ and then me the JJ politics. Who you serious? And then me the JJ politics. Who cares? The youth know my banner omuye from 2001 why the name they see with JJ and to the JJ even JJ mpo atamils amfa MPP before in 2008 Eddie JJ a year politics otoma tamilsa what one my JJ no and no cry amfa. Are you serious Napo? Are you serious? I say akrabi I say trimudeni ya ode yentimi nkawa asem ti trimudeni sedenyo enti baby awedri aye tu fui awo yewura se kasa ye jahantan sem no de wutimi kwaka be convince ni pane se otu amama NDC a obewa bebubu nkramudan na omu ne ku asofo ena omu di bi gu nwuram waba beye wo ye government for 8 years untimi nti obi antum for 8 years so una wa ban wo ho enti wo intelligence say ewo ho say NDC for ne ku asofo NDC for ne ku akoye oye HIV AIDS na 8 years nie NAPO wotso wantimi antena till the timer you as a vice president me kasa nkoda asem ni nsem hunu wei e kire nipa na nipa so ne boy ensem hwe let me tell you MPP for NAPO dimawu na sa no kra ne kan ya mu ntie maso odin sa so odin na me kan ya mu antie enne afekire ne se no aso odin na me tumu fu a mo se me mpena na Akufo Addo asem enne na awo mo se amu ntimi nka je say won say enyoman mu hu MPP for wushio ma na afei na baje bu na Akufo Addo ogu party no sa ansem na me kan na mo ntia se mo se me mpena asem enne na po amu yi na amu nim so obebo am no hwe nsem hu na woka. Sanyoma way, I am so shocked with National Investigative Bureau (NIB). This is a criminal issue. Obietimia can murder or that's what you your campaign. NIB for mu police for other IGP we want tiana. Sena nanya Antoine ko kan bibia kan ma ba be chi no. Enti de NAPO kan ya wo say onim the wo say kan ne che say onim say obi ne ku. Why is he still working freely? Adenti na NAPO ni nam ho amonche no. IGP. Sansem hunu ye ya NAPO kan no. Adenti na monche no. Mo trend because NAPO. Say ordinary person ko an NDC ni bia na opposition ko kan asasem yan kenne ka won say police IGP ye di tuo e kwa kwache opposition say waka say obi ne kun we no obi na we sansem nu we ya waka obi a entimi ntia no kan je say NAPO wan ka say ye
Nana, unlike what happened in 2008 where the approval of the choice of running mate Nana Akufo Addo, candidate Akufo Addo at the time, Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia, was not a straightforward one. In fact, as you've indicated some time ago, that he was not really the choice or the preferred choice at the time, or the most preferred or popularized choice at the time. But Nana Akufo Addo was very clear in his mind that this is the man that he needs. In fact, the approval process kept we journalists waiting for so long. At the time, I was just a young journalist. It kept us at that hotel to midnight. Before that announcement was made. This one took less than 3 hours, I think. Now, what does that tell you?
I mean, clearly this one was preset.
Preset?
Yes, it was basically preset. I mean, from all the information that we had before the process came to an end, and most peculiarly, the weighing in of the NIB, the National Investigations Bureau, in coming out with some supposed report, investigation, I don't know whether it was a poll or whatever, that NAPO was the most popular, most preferred running mate. You know, so clearly, this was an establishment agenda, and the establishment was ready to push it down at all costs. So for me, it's not strange that it turned out this way. But the point is that a lot of the issues that are coming up now about NAPO's running mate position shows clearly that the NPP has gone from one mistake of choosing Bawumia as candidate to the next of choosing Dr. Matthew Puku Prempe as running mate.
Why do you describe Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia's choice as a mistake?
Bawumia is a very big mistake. Now,
how? Why?
You see, my friend from NDC sitting here, and the NDC generally, I had said this when we were in the party primary before, that the way the establishment was basically shepherding and predetermining the selection of Dr. Bawumia as the candidate, if that did happen, about 70% of the campaign work of NDC would have been done. Why? I'm a media person. All NDC needed to do was to pick some of the key statements that Dr. Bawumia had been making since 2008, 2012, 2016, before NPP came into office. And then juxtapose it to the current situation, particularly on the economy. And half of NDC's campaign would have been done. And this is exactly what the NDC is doing right now. To the extent that Dr. Bawumia himself has confessed on his Facebook wall that he gets distressed when videos and audios and recordings of his own statements are played back to him.
Well, that was Nana Komia, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you see, I thought that the NPP would have looked at the strategic issues involved in, particularly how your opponent would position themselves against your candidate, presidential. It doesn't seem like they did. So they selected Bawumia. And every turn of the way, there is one tape or the other that is thrown into Bawumia's face And it is very difficult for you to run away from it because this is audio, video, recorded live. Now, when you have come through that kind of situation, so you get selected as the candidate, presidential. So now the party looks for a running mate. And my sense would have been that the running mate would provide some mitigating effect on the negatives of the presidential candidate. And you go and select a person who is not just tagged. NAPO has not been tagged as arrogant. He is arrogant.
How do you see?
Now, when you take his responses to public concerns, I mean, is that a tag? When somebody speaks to you a certain way without respect, and then people say that if you speak this way, you are arrogant. Is that a tag? It only shows you what is inside the person. That is his character. It is not a tag. Please, let us be realistic about this. Now, even when somebody talks about, I think our friend here talked about the need for repackaging. Why would you need to repackage if there was nothing wrong?
There's no damage.
If there is no damage. Now, wait.
But
where we are today, I will insist.
Some repackaging.
No, I will insist. Look, I will insist. Let Ghanaians go to the polls, voting for people whose character they already know, not people who are going to be repackaged.
But would you
let Ghanaians go and vote based on what they know about people, whether they are packaged or repackaged or whatever? What is the person made of? What comes out of them naturally when they are squeezed? What comes out of them? Now, clearly, our country is very fractured and divided along partisan political lines. Within NAPO's own party, within the NPP, in the last election, the NPP had an issue with an independent in Fomena. The words that came out of NAPO's mouth, I was shocked to see the NPP running to beg Honorable Esiama that he should come on their side so that they can become the majority. I mean, these are people who don't see the value of another person beyond themselves. And you say things like, look, Esiama he wants to go unopposed and so on and so forth. If other people had gone opposed, what do you think he would have gotten the chance?
Well,
if he gets, wait a second, please. If he gets into parliament, touch with him may not be, but if he does, he shouldn't even come near. John Boadu said the same thing. The president said the same thing. So it becomes a matter of convenience when they think that now they need you. And NAPO has exuded that kind of character too. I had this conversation going on in Parliament about issues concerning K-Sea defense having been put in requests that it should be added to budgetary proposals. And I cringed to hear NAPO's reaction. That a request for the development of an opposition stronghold should be added to the budget. We should go and put a K-Sea defense in the opposition stronghold. That was what really disturbed me. So, Keta is opposition to NPP. And so, therefore, the citizens of Keta are not Ghanaians. Yeah. And this person wants to become vice president of Ghana. And you are calling this a tag? This is not a tag. That is the man's character. I don't think that Ghanaians need a vice president like Dr. Opoku Prempeh.
Well, there are those who say his assertiveness is
Listen, let me make my point. I am telling you what Ghanaians are also. Arrogant. I am telling you what Ghanaians are saying about this gentleman. NAPO has been my very good friend, and I've known him within the party outside. But I am saying where we are at now, this country is at the crossroads. It should matter to all of us who becomes president, who becomes vice president, who becomes minister, who becomes this and that, who becomes MP. Now, these are people who would want to win an election, and that's about the end of it. Their character will show you. NAPO is the least qualified, as far as I am concerned, to stand in for the president of Ghana a day that the president is not at work.
I see, but you say you know him.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes.
And that's your verdict.
Yes.
That even beyond.
It is not. I'm telling you what I'm also picking. Since his
beyond you see, there are some who say who are close to him who say his public utterances are not a judgment of who he is. So if you say you know, does
that make sense to you?
If you say you know him,
no, does that make sense to you?
If you say you know him personally,
yes.
Do you know him?
I'm just telling you that this is not a personal judgment in terms of love or hate. I'm telling you that we are at a point where Ghana needs leaders who are compassionate. Ghana needs leaders who are respectful, especially where the Akufo Addo government has been accused of the arrogance of power, and there is a lot of evidence of it all over the place. I don't think we need another round of such arrogant leaders in this country. No, not of the kind. Look, I don't think anybody would take what I'm saying as an attack on NAPO's person. That is what it is.
Simple.
So if
people had done the same thing about Akufo Addo, would have been spared this.
I don't think we'll be where we are today, where people are complaining about the president not respecting our chiefs, the president not doing this and that. We are yet to go to the polls. And the Constitution of Ghana says that whoever is the running mate of the person who gets elected is deemed to have been elected. So if, as far as I'm concerned, touch wood, Bawumia gets elected, it means that NAPO becomes the vice president. And I don't think that Ghana needs a president who cannot be trusted, a president who is running away from his own words, a president who is not ready to stand up to the thing that he said just a short while ago, and a vice president who doesn't respect anybody apart from himself. I don't think we need that. And this one is not a problem for the movement for change at all. It's not a problem for Alan. Now, you're talking about the NPP base in Ashanti.
And you know that quite well.
Yes.
Having served as General Secretary.
Yes. You have Alan Kyeremanteng. You have Alan Kyeremanteng as a presidential candidate. And you have NAPO as a vice presidential candidate. If I should talk the ethnic politics, and I don't think we should shy away from it, it's not all that is negative. If Ashantis want a position in the presidency, they are better off with Alan Kyeremanteng than a vice president. Number one and number two, which one would you want to go for? But seriously speaking, but that is just you know on the side, not to but to come on to the more serious note. Imagine the personality of Alan Kyeremanteng in Ashanti, his demeanor, his character, his relationship with people, both high and low, and then look at NAPO's attitude to people, and tell me that when Alan appears in Asafo Market, or KJTR Market, or Race Course, wherever it is, with the ordinary people, and then NAPO appears, this one, I will put a challenge to the NPP. We should put NAPO and Alan Kyeremanteng in Kumasi and let them go through the market. I will put that challenge to NPP. They are an institution. Alan is an independent. And when it boils down to the individual's character, I can tell you, the people of Ghana also are concerned about character. They're also concerned about your person, how you connect to people. It is important, and it should be important to selection of leaders going forward. So I don't think that the Bawumia NAPO ticket sends any chills down my spine or Alan Kyeremanteng's spine or the NPP spine. No.
But if you talk about leaders who say things and run away or run away from their words or their performance, either competently or incompetently, there are some who have also pointed to your candidate who served in this administration, for that matter, as Trades and Industry Minister.
Yes.
And some of the deficiencies while he was minister.
Yes.
The 1D1F comes to mind as well,
Yes.
where I've sat with him and he says, you know what, I had my plan and I wanted to execute this in a certain way, but I am not the man in charge. How different is that from Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia saying, well, there are certain things that I had a different mind about, but it is the president who has executive authority, and so I couldn't have done anything about it. As against the same way Alan Chamati is also saying, well, with 1D1F, I had a plan, but I was not the one in charge, and so don't blame me for the failures of this policy, whilst he was Trades Minister. That's the same tangent of he running away and from responsibility, is it not?
I'm afraid it is not.
What's the difference?
Sure you will take your time to listen to me. I've answered this question time and again. First thing, I'm sure that anybody or everybody who's listening to me will know the difference between the power and authority of a vice president and the power and authority of a minister in any government. Now, when you are vice president, you are basically shadow president. That's what it is. To the extent that if at any time the president is not at post, a minister does not go to act in the position of the president. Never. That is one. Two, if you talk about one district, one factory, I am surprised that the same policy arrangement that Alan put in place, which today the NPP is using to campaign, some people will sit somewhere and say that it failed. How did it fail?
How many factories are on stream?
There are 170 industries on stream.
Have you gone to see them?
Yes.
And function?
You are doubting what I'm saying.
Respectfully.
Then let me refer you to the recent statement by the current Minister of Trade,
So
KT Hammond. Wait. Can I respond to your question? Honorable KT Hammond, the current Minister of Trade and Industry, says that one district, one factory has created 170,000 jobs. And that
has been challenged.
By who?
By the
Trades Committee in Parliament. Did they go and
That's
check?
Number one.
Listen. Mm-hmm. Can I answer? I'm not under interrogation.
Not at all.
I'm just responding to your question. Mm-hmm. So let me answer. I am not even talking about Achemate. I'm talking about the current minister. Mm-hmm. He is saying, and he's telling and reporting, that about over 200 or so factories, at least 120, 150 of them are actively operating now across the country, creating about 170,000 direct and indirect jobs. Now, if the current government and the sitting party, the party in government, is campaigning with this, and it is not even Alan Chamati who is talking about it, and somebody doubts it, they should go to the Ministry of Trade and go and check on that.
Okay.
Now, two, when the president is not in his seat, the next person who takes over is the vice president. That's it. Now, when the president was bringing Dr. Bawumia, he told the whole country, and I'm going back to the fact of Dr. Bawumia running away from his own statements. He told the whole country that, look, when traders trade, their capital is disappearing because the cedi is not stable. Their profits don't mean anything. And that is why I am bringing Dr. Bawumia to come and fix this economy. And traders, you will be happy because I'm going to hand over the economy to Dr. Bawumia when I take office. And then Akufo Addo takes office 2017. To date, 8 years, with the economy firmly placed, according to the words of the president, in the hands of the vice president, who also happens to be chairman of the Economic Management Committee. Today, when you talk about the economy, when you talk about exchange rates, when you talk about inflation, when you talk about prices of goods and services, Dr. Bawumia is just merely talking to you about digitization, which is one drop, one aspect of the entire economy. And the fundamentals which he himself lectured all of us on so copiously, the fundamentals. Dr. Bawumia, who is ready now, who says they should give him the steering wheel, and that he now wants to jump into the seat. Now, he doesn't even want to talk about the economy anymore. He doesn't want to talk about fundamentals anymore. That's what I'm saying. He's running away from his own statements.
Okay.
How can we trust a president who right now is still in charge of the economy, who is refusing to address directly economic issues? How can we trust that person to say, now, let me take charge and then I will now give you what I have up my sleeves. I think it is a trick for which a lot of voters have fallen in the past. Fortunately, we still have some time to decide and to think before we vote on December 7.
Right.
These gimmicks should not work with any Ghanaian, and it won't work.
Somebody put a question as to whether you prefer an arrogant leader who gets the job done or a humble leader who is incompetent.
But which job did he get done?
So those are two different. Let me
which
also
job
welcome Professor.
If the arrogant leader could get the job done, obviously everybody wants the job done. But still, we don't want an arrogant leader anyway.
They're waiting for winning and someone at the toy you proceed. Because GCU so and our so we are subscribe we are and say we best subscribe to the channel that we will like the video no the Kwaku Annan Shema of Forson when you be here now who and someone else will go and also waiting otchere what you are finding somewhere now I will comment box in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.